California Quakes take on the Florida Sundogs. Both teams are still suffering aftershocks from the recently revealed relationship between Sean Atkinson and Denise Loden.
The rumors are true. I can't understand what she could ever see in Sean.
Will a strong interconference rivalry become a personal crusade of loyalty? Which team's psyche will crumble first?
I know what Sean's doing with Denise, and I don't like it.
It's all coming up next as the California Quakes take on the Florida Sundogs tonight on Roller Jam.
Studios in Orlando, Florida. This is the World Skating League. Tonight, two of the premier teams in the WSL as the California Quakes battle the Florida Sundogs. Welcome, everyone, to Roller Jam Arena. I'm Ken Resnick, along with Lee Rehrman and skating legend Buddy Atkinson Jr. At certainly any time it's the Sundogs and the Quakes, anything can happen, but all kinds of sidebars to this one, Hawk, not the least of which is the Florida Sundogs skating shorthanded. Posse and Suzanne Chalene out of action.
Well, usually we talk about these guys being the gregarious versus the monotonous. Of course, the California Quakes always like it to show off, and the Florida Sundogs getting things done methodically. But here in the World Skating League in this matchup today, we've got all kinds of things going on. You're absolutely right. The Chalenes are out, so watch for Sam Martin for the Florida Sundog men to pick up Posse Chalene's slack, and then look for Debbie Rice to come back. They need her at full strength coming back from that injury. She's really going to be pressed into action today, Ken, to get it done for the Florida Sundog women.
And Buddy Atkinson Jr., the California Quakes and Florida Sundogs have met many times. Considering the contrasting styles, does so many repetitive games favor one team or the other?
You know what? I don't believe so. These two different team personas, makes for an interesting matchup every time they come. There's no way to know who's going to win and who's going to lose.
And if that isn't interesting enough, Hawk, this budding romance between Sean Atkinson of the Quakes and Denise Loden. Interestingly, the Sundogs still pretty much behind Denise Loden, but as you would think from the Quakes, they had like nothing to do with it.
Well, I'm going to want to know a little bit more what Pop Atkinson has to think about Sean Atkinson going out with Denise Loden, but you're absolutely right. The Quakes seem to be not liking this relationship, and it's spilling over into their play in terms of Rusty Montgomery not liking it, and the Sundogs really seem to be responding positively, or at least ignoring it, with Denise Loden of the Florida Sundogs.
And certainly Florida staying in that team concept behind Denise Loden, their quarterback and captain of the women. Now, as you hear the music, it's time for the California Quakes to take the track. I cannot think of two teams beating each other in the World Skating League with more sidebars and undercurrents than the Quakes and the Sundogs.
Well, and these guys don't like each other. They have a lot to say about each other on a normal day.
And here come the Florida Sundogs. Out by Denise Loden, and one can only speculate where her focus will be. Will it be on her teammates or her newfound love in Sean Atkinson? As we look at Captain America Bill Marker, and to make matters worse for the Sundogs, they are skating without the services of Posse and Suzanne Chalene. A kiss from Denise and Sean, unbelievable. Denise Loden is in the starting lineup for the Florida Sundogs, along with Debbie Rice, Lindsey Francis, Kathy Evangelo, and Andrea Franklin. For the California Quakes, it's Stacy Blitch, who is very unhappy right now, along with Amy Craig, Cindy Zimmerman, Faith Urban, and the Brookhouse Brooke Sunderman. There's the starting line. Amy Craig, the speedster, on the inside as we break away. And there are so many things to talk about, but right out at the top, her familiar position is Debbie Rice, and it's Cindy Zimmerman now coming out. It is Rice and Zimmerman. Rice with the elbow, slow Zimmerman. Zimmerman comes down, takes the inside, does a good job of keeping her balance. These two jammers are no strangers to one another, and coming up behind, it's Amy Craig and Lindsey Francis, and down goes Sydney Zimmerman, catching the big elbow from Debbie Rice as they come around.
And look for these Sundogs, Ken. These guys got to step up. Some individuals who don't usually shine have to, and the team as a whole has to pick up a notch or two for everyone if they're going to make up for the lack of personnel.
Debbie Rice calling up Amy Craig. Denise Loden doing a good job of blocking out Craig, and Stacy Blitch does a return favor to Debbie Rice. So far now, both jammers are able to get by. 1 point apiece as they come around. Remember, once you pass a blocker, the points stay on the board. It's 1 apiece, and Denise Loden just levels Stacy Blitch into the rail, and it all shakes out men's to men's. 1 point for Debbie Rice if you're scoring, and 1 for Amy Craig.
And of course, I just talked about watching for the Sundogs to have to pick it up a little bit. These Quakes, they may be caught sleeping a little bit. They think without the Shaleens in the lineup, they're going to have the easy go of it. Well, nothing could be further from the truth. And you saw Stacy Blitch got caught sleeping by Denise Loden with a late shot there on that jam, Ken.
And certainly Denise Loden had to enjoy that hammer away at Stacy Blitch. Blitch very, very unhappy more than anybody else on the Quakes over this romance between her captain, Sean Atkinson, and Denise Loden. Kathy Evangelo sails into the rail courtesy of Brooke Sunderman. Now Andrea Franklin tries to go high, and Sunderman sends her into the railing. A great job of blocking out so far by Brooke Sunderman. Now the whip from Stacy Blitch frees Jamie Konomak as they come around, and also being followed up by Heather Sunderman as the Quakes have both their jammers out. Franklin and Francis got all tangled up. The Sundogs in some trouble right now as the Quakes have the only 2 jammers out.
And Brooke Sunderman is what caused this, Ken. She was able to bottle up a lot of the Sundog women, allowed her 2 jammers to break out with the only opportunity to score.
And now in this 1-1 tie, it's a golden goose for the California Quakes. If they can just pick up the pace just a little bit. Both jammers out. Now they pass 1, they go by, and now a whole host, they pass 2 more each. And now finally Jamie Konomak cuts off the jam, but not before the California Quakes pick up 5 points, and now Blitch and Loden are going after each other. It is 6-1 California Quakes. We'll be back with more. The California Quakes off to a very fast start, leading this one 6-1. The Florida Sundogs, I think, a little bit upset, one, about the relationship of Loden, and certainly skating shorthanded without the services of both Posse and Suzanne Shaleen, very down, losing their teammates. Now Andrea Franklin trying to break through the double block, finally does so. Faith Urban wearing a jammer helmet out in the lead. Andrea Franklin certainly the quicker and stronger of the skaters as they come around. Faith Urban trying to avoid her. Andrea Franklin looked like she tried to stop on the skate of Faith Urban. Urban slowed down and obviously avoided. Now Franklin's just concentrating on catching up to the pack, basically ignoring Faith Urban as they come around. We'll see what Urban tries to do. Urban doing a good job of staying with her. There's an elbow from Franklin. And now Debbie Rice drops back, and you see Franklin and Rice talking it over. We'll see what kind of strategy plays out. Franklin moves ahead. Debbie Rice trying to block out Faith Urban. The elbow drops Urban down, and now Franklin battles it out with Brooke Sunderman. And a good job of scoring. Andrea Franklin picking up 1 point with a big assist to Debbie Rice.
And the California Quakes are doing something really interesting here, Ken. We know that these Florida Sundogs are missing a lot of people, and they're throwing a lot of different names out there we don't call very often. I think they're trying to overwhelm these Florida Sundogs with personnel.
If things weren't bad enough for the Florida Sundogs being without Posse and Suzanne Shaleen, we were just informed that Gina Lombardo is out suffering a concussion. Doctors would not clear her to skate, so it's going from bad to worse for Florida. As we look at Sydney Zimmerman of the California Bot Squad coming around all alone. Zimmerman, number 36, 5'4", 120, out of Clearwater, Florida. That's certainly one of the better all-around players in the league. She can block, she can jam, and when she has to, she can get down and dirty with the best of them. Lindsey Francis now dueling with Brooke Sunderman at the back of the pack, and Francis doing a good job of trying to pin Zimmerman high on the rail. Brookhouse with an elbow to Francis. Again, Francis doing a good job of dealing with Brooke Sunderman and keeping sure Cindy Zimmerman is unable to get by. And now Zimmerman takes the inside, goes by Lindsey Francis, and very quickly cuts off the jam after picking up 1 point, making it 7-2 Quakes.
And again, Cindy Zimmerman called on early to jam. Usually this time of the game, we'd see Amy Craig out there as a jammer, maybe Heather Sunderman, Brooke's sister. But again, these California Quakes are taking an opportunity to perhaps tire out the Florida Sundogs and bring out those guns later on in the game, Ken.
You know, we talked about so many times how the Quakes are just decimated by this romance between Sean Atkinson and Denise Loden. Perhaps what has happened is they have come together, if for no other reason than against Captain Sean Atkinson. That may have bound them together. Certainly the Sundogs turning to who, as so many times we see the case, Debbie Rice, their speedster, as they desperately need some points. And as they come around, the pack is all bottled up. And right now, the Quakes and Faith Urban sends Debbie Rice into the rail, and the jam is cut off. No points for either team.
And you see Debbie Rice bending over a little bit, Ken. She really had the finesse on this play to do a good job, but you got to remember, she's back from injury as well. She's only been back for a couple of games, and she's being called upon a lot more already to perform for her Florida Sundogs, and with them being weighed down in personnel, she's going to get tired here late in the game, Ken.
7-2, the Florida Sundog women had better get something going at the end of this first period. And what do? They turn to Denise Loden. She has been their go-to skater, and look at this matchup. Denise Loden and Stacy Blitch. Blitch is absolutely beside herself, calling Loden every name in the book. Can't believe that Loden has a relationship with the captain of the Quakes, Sean Atkinson. We'll see how this one plays out. And Denise Loden with the elbow sends Stacy Blitch head first into the track. Loden turning it on. They trail it 7-2. Loden goes right by Faith Urban, goes right by Brooke Sunderman, gets some help from Andrea Franklin, now goes by Heather Sunderman, and finally Denise Loden cuts it off after picking up 4 big points and pulling the California Quakes, cutting their lead from 7-2 down to 7-6. And look at the argument between Atkinson and Blitch.
And Atkinson and Blitch are going at it because Denise Loden is getting under their skin with her play, and she still has enough left to mix it up with Stacy Blitch after the play. And I tell you what, Ken, she might tire herself out at this rate.
Well, she's not about to back down from Stacy Blitch. Blitch went after her, upset about being one dumped to the track, but more so being scored upon. Now it's jaw to jaw, Stacy Blitch and Sean Atkinson, the captain. Blitch thinks Atkinson's more worried about Denise Loden. Oh, it's Stacy Blitch slams Sean Atkinson. She has had absolutely enough of her captain, Sean Atkinson. Let's go to Roller Rule.
Roller Rules, brought to you by Dial 1-800-AT&T for collect calls.
I'm Sean Corbin, head official of the World Skating League. I figured it's time you learn the rules from someone who actually knows the rules. The most important job for a referee is to determine how many points are scored on a jam. A point is scored every time a jammer laps an opposing skater. Here Denise Loden is passing members of the California Quakes. Although she passes them several times, she only receives 1 point for each one that's lapped. Here, Loden whips Debbie Rice past Brooke Sunderman. But before Rice falls off the jam, Sunderman passes her back. Does Rice get the point? Yes, she does. Because when she passes the other skater, the point is there for good. Now you know the rule.
And we'll be right back with period number 2 and the men right after this. We're back. The California Quakes lead this one by a score of 7-6 over the Florida Sundogs. A surprise coming from the California Quakes. Heather Sunderman and Jamie Konomak really stepping it up, doing the bulk of the scoring. And Hawk on the Florida side, who else? Denise Loden.
Well, absolutely, and it's surprising given that before the game we were talking about a potential mutiny by these Florida Sundogs, given the Atkinson-Loden relationship. But Denise Loden, we know she can block. Right here, of course, she shows some finesse, jamming it at the end. She mixes it up with Stacy Blitch, who ends up smacking her teammate, Sean Atkinson. Ouch.
Starting for the Florida Sundogs, Sam the Flame Martin, Captain America Bill Barker, Sean Marshall, Top Smith, and a late addition, Mike Tanner. For the Quakes, of course, the captain, Atkinson, Rusty Montgomery, Chad Vaughn, Gary Lockamy, and Mark James. And if things aren't getting bad enough for these Florida Sundogs, David Gleddy now out with a bad hamstring. Mark Tanner has to come in for him. I'll tell you, it's amazing how the Sundogs are able to even put a team on the track. But right now, coming out for the Sundogs, it is Tom Smith out of Syracuse, New York, 5'6", 140. And boy, Florida has got to get something going. It's been all Quakes as of late. And here they come around. Tom Smith doing a great job Coming up very quickly on the pack, you see Atkinson back to block out, along with Chad Vaughn. Tom Smith, can he get by the captain of the Quakes, Atkinson, who right now seems to be a man without a country, not seeming to get any help from any of his teammates. And a big move by one of the Sundogs. That's Sean Marshall dropping the California Quake Jammer as they come around. Tom Smith still unable to get by. Oh, Captain America with his Captain America patented move absolutely levels Atkinson.
And you see Atkinson, the result of the Captain America by Captain America. A good look at Bill Barker. But I tell you what, Ken, we talked about the women having to step up. On the men's side of the ball, it's got to be Captain America, Bill Barker, if these Sundog men are going to have any chance of making up for the loss of both David Gleddy and, of course, Posse Shalene.
And Tom Smith picks up the 1 point as Atkinson went down, courtesy of the Captain America. We are all knotted at 7 apiece in this one, as you see Denise Loden going out to check on Sean Atkinson of the California Quakes. And when did we ever think we would see that? But it's certainly been a topsy-turvy week here in the World Skating League.
It's like the Twilight Zone, Ken.
All knotted at 7. Now it's Anthony Santiago out for the California Quakes, and number 11, Jonathan Russell out of Edgewater, Florida, for the Florida Sundogs. And you see Santiago try and put him down in a headlock. That missed, and he goes high instead and drops him. Now it's all Anthony Santiago as they come around the curve. Santiago, a teenager, 5'10", 168, one of the 2 young Turks, along with Eric Slopey on this California Quake squad. And now you see rotating back to block out is Captain America, Bill Barker. Sean Atkinson not even paying attention. But a great move, just an old forward head roll by Anthony Santiago. Gets him by Bill Barker. Santiago very quickly cuts off the jam to put the Quakes up by 1.
And Anthony Santiago, we talked about the women Quakes showing a lot of new faces. Well, Anthony Santiago, although at the end there he kind of rolled over Bill Barker, that wasn't a Captain America. It's almost like Bill Barker is conserving some energy, which he might have to, but these Quake men really have to pick it up, and they're trying to take full advantage of the loss of manpower for the Sundog men.
It wasn't pretty, but anyway, you get a point. It's good. It stays on the board, and the Quakes are up by 1. And now this is Mark James, and he takes a big knee from Sam the Flame Martin. James goes right into the rail, and now Martin drops the other California Quake. Sam the Flame Martin has had enough. Martin, 5'8", 145 out of Panama City, Florida. A great speed skater in his own right. Now the double block being set up by Chad Vaughn, and Rusty Montgomery is able to slow the Flame Martin down. And now you see one of the Florida Sundogs trying to break it up. That was Mike Tanner, and finally Bill Barker does just that as Sam the Flame Martin is able to go through the pack, and now he drops down, turns around and cuts off the jam, but he picks up 3 big points to put the Sundogs back out in front.
And I tell you, Sam Martin, we talked about the loss of Richard Brown earlier in the year, and oh my goodness, Sean Atkinson gets payback on Captain America by sending him into the fence, Ken.
Well, Atkinson, I guess you can't blame him. His teammates want nothing to do with him. Certainly the Florida Sundogs, with the exception of Denise Loden, want nothing to do with him. He is a man without a country. You see the headlock delivered attempt, runs Barker head first into that steel guardrail, protecting the Sundogs bench. And I can't believe Atkinson is even still on the track. You can't tell me they're not going to put him in the penalty box. This is absolutely unbelievable.
And you saw a shot of Captain America. I think he might be Captain Ozone as he's trying to shake the cobwebs out after that big shot to his head.
I don't know what the referees were thinking, but at any rate, it is still 10-8, Florida Sundogs in the lead. As we come around, it's again Sam the Flame Martin and Tom Smith doing battle with the white pony, Eric Slopey, sandwiching Slopey between them. Slopey doing a good job, sidesteps both the jammers, cuts to the inside. They take one another out there. Slopey on his horse. He's on the white pony as he comes around, and certainly the Quakes need some points as they trail in this one. He's being encouraged by Rusty Montgomery. Montgomery doing a job. Sean Atkinson not really paying much attention, but a good move by Montgomery and Vaughn. Eric Slopey comes around on the white pony for 3 big points, puts the Quakes back in front by 1.
Well, and Rusty Montgomery has voiced his concern about this relationship, and can this feud continues between Captain America and Sean Atkinson? It seems like at the end of every jam they go at it. Last time Sean Atkinson got the better of him. This time Bill Barker got the better of Sean Atkinson.
You know, and it's hard to tell. The Sundogs have said they would support Denise Loden in whatever they do, so you don't know if these annex are being directed by the romance between Loden and Atkinson. Or, I mean, let's face it, none of the Sundog men had any love for Sean Atkinson, but we do know one thing. The California Quakes on the other side of the coin, even though they lead this one by 1, have been visibly and verbally upset by this relationship. Early on, it was Stacy Blitch that actually slapped Sean Atkinson, feeling she was paying too much attention to Denise Loden and not enough to her own team. Now it's Gary Lockamy out for the Quakes, number 20, and along with number 13, Eric Slopey. And Sam the Flame Martin again gets sandwiched and finally hammered down by Eric Slopey. And now a great opportunity. It's Lockamy and Santiago as they come around as we're nearing the end of this first half. The Quakes with a 1-point lead, and right now down go 2 of the jammers, and Slopey leaps right across, as does Gary Lockamy. They each pick up 2 points, a total of 4, and suddenly the Quakes are out in front in this one by 5 as Denise Loden checks Sean Atkinson. You see Rusty Montgomery try and shove her away. Now Santiago comes over and checks. This is unbelievable. Loden more concerned about Atkinson than the fact her team trails by 5. We'll be back with halftime right after this. It's the California Quakes 15, the Florida Sundogs 10. It's halftime. Welcome back, everyone, to Roller Jam Arena. I'm Ken Resick, along with Lee Rehrman and skating legend Buddy Atkinson Jr. Certainly the California Quakes have been able to put aside their individual differences and have come together to hold a 5-point lead over the Florida Sundogs. In Hawk, Florida, certainly led by Captain America Bill Barker, realized to stay with the Quakes, they're going to have to play physical.
Well, they want to play physical, but my hat is off to Sean Atkinson, especially in this first half. We know the kid can play physical, but with this relationship going on right here, you see him get caught up, and Captain America gives him the move by the name Captain America. And right here, he comes back, takes out several Sundogs as 2 of his teammates clean up and score some points. Denise Loden was trying to look out for him, but Sean Atkinson giving up his body. His team seems to be mutinying on him. He still comes to play, still getting this done, still keeping the California Quakes in the lead here, Ken.
You're exactly right. The California Quakes far more upset about this relationship between Sean Atkinson and Denise Loden than are the Florida Sundogs. In fact, our compadre, Broadway, Danny Wolf, is trackside with the California Quakes. Danny?
Conspicuous by his absence is the skating captain, Sean Atkinson, and this team doesn't look happy about his antics. Jamie Konomak, what is going on? Sean Atkinson, the man who talked about teamwork, is pulling the team apart.
You know what? He needs to decide if he's going to go with a little one-night stand, little floozy puppy dog, or if he's going to be with the Quakes, where we all know where the real team is at. All about the Quakes.
And Rusty Montgomery, let me talk to God. You guys, look at the faces on this team. They're not happy. And you seem the most pissed about your friend, Sean Atkinson.
Yeah, Danny, I am. I mean, he cares more about little girl over there than he does his team, you know. This team's about staying together, sticking together, doing the plays, and winning a game. He's more worried about going over and giving her a kiss. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, I've never seen anything like it.
And what happens if he doesn't come back? I mean, what kind of trouble? It looks like on all the faces, he's in big trouble with this team.
I'm not going to go into that, what's going to come of this. I'm just telling you right now, we don't like it, we're pissed off, and we're tired of it.
Obviously, the California Quakes questioning just where Sean Atkinson's priorities lie. And talk about questioning, a lot of people are questioning this Beauty and the Beast relationship, but here's a close-up look at Sean Atkinson and Denise Loden.
The team meeting was about the relationship that Sean Atkinson and I are having.
Just minutes ago, you could hear the sounds of hearts breaking all over the WSL. But how could these two be together?
Who better to tame the wild attack than the Barracuda?
Sean and Denise are proof positive opposites to attract. But even before the truth came out, the Sundogs and the Quakes made their feelings clear.
Doesn't Sean realize that Denise is Stacy's worst enemy?
She just wants somebody, anybody, to pay attention to her. What could Denise possibly see in an animal like that?
Can two people so opposite in every way find lasting love off the bank track?
There's no reason to believe that roller derby and romance can't work together.
Only time will tell if Sean and Denise can give this love story a happy ending.
I don't know. I guess it's true. Opposites, Hawk, do in fact attract.
Well, you're saying opposites attract, but I tell you what, these are both very strong-willed people, Denise Loden and Sean Atkinson. They're both team leaders, and they may not look alike on the outside, but inside, I think these two are just doomed to failure because of their strong-willed personalities.
Well, we will certainly find out. But speaking of doomed to failure, Buddy Atkinson, in the middle of that second period, Eric Slopey of the California Quakes found himself in a position that we all thought was doomed to fail. But boy, I'll tell you, what a great move. He completely turned it around. Take us through it.
Right. What he's really doing is he's setting these two guys up for a real nail. Now watch this move right here. It comes up, goes a big bang here, but Slope does a little slide back, and now we have murder. Bam. And the boy runs through the inside. Slope's going through, and sure as heck he's going to get some points.
Well, he certainly did a great job. Now, buddy, let me call on your vast experience in roller derby. The Florida Sundogs came into this game already shorthanded without Posse and Suzanne Chalene. They trail in this one after 2 periods by 5 points. What do they need to do to turn it around?
Well, I'll tell you what I think. They've got to take 2 players out of the game somewhere along the line. And I think they can do that because, I'll tell you what, this is a very powerful team. And I know that they're going to get back in this because there's never a die with this team. And that's what I'm looking for.
Well, at any rate, it should be a very interesting second half. And we'll be back with that second half right after this. With the score of the California Quakes 15, the Florida Sundogs 10. We're underway here in the second half. The Florida Sundogs decimated by injuries. David Glenny is out. Gina Lombardo is out. Posse and Suzanne Chalene are out because of immigration problems. And to make matters worse, Denise Loden has professed her love for the captain of the California Quakes. And the last thing the Sundogs can afford is to let the Quakes get out to a bigger lead. Being shorthanded, they're out of their normal rotation, both on jammers and blockers. Right now, it's Debbie Rice and Amy Craig, number 30 out of Fairhope, Alabama. The Sundogs certainly are going to their speedster, Debbie Rice, and down she goes. A big elbow from Amy Craig. Craig turns around, and now Heather Sunderman drops Lindsey Francis. This is the last thing the Sundogs need as the Quakes tie up the entire Sundog pack. Craig and Sunderman go by 3 of the California Quakes. 6 more points, and suddenly they've doubled them up, plus it's 21-10.
And this is exactly what I was talking about in the first half, Ken. We saw the California Quakes send people like Faith Urban out on jams. Brooke Sunderman was playing a big role. They were saving the big guns in the name of Amy Craig, Heather Sunderman. These guys are the horses for the California Quakes scoring points, and those are the Florida Sundogs. 2 of them we were talking about that are out, as these Florida Sundogs, not only are they getting beat, but they're very tired, and men and women down, Ken.
You can well imagine how bad Posse and Suzanne Chalene would like to be on this track, especially with the additional injuries to the Sundogs, but it is not to be due to a court order. 21-10, and now it's Jamie Konomak coming out for the California Quakes, being pursued by Andrea Franklin. The last thing the Sundogs can afford is for California to get any more points. And great move, the big knee from Andrea Franklin sends Jamie Konomak down.
And I'm still getting a kick out of what you hit on the head with, and their best player professing her love for the captain of the opposing team. Unbelievable.
Only in the World Skating League, believe
great.
you me. Now Andrea Franklin's coming up. This is Stacy Blitch back to try and block her out. Blitch, the upset of all the California Quakes over this romance. Good job of Stacy Blitch. One of the Sundogs tried to take her skates out from under. She went right by. And what a great job of blocking out Andrea Franklin Stacy Blitch is doing. As time runs out, Stacy Blitch single-handedly, as she blows Franklin a sarcastic kiss, preventing Andrea Franklin from putting any points on the board.
And you saw Stacy Blitch do a very smart thing, Ken. She turned around, faced off, but did not go the opposite direction, which would have been a penalty for her team.
And certainly you would have to imagine the California Quakes right now with that 11-point lead. They'll go into a defensive shell. Now the Sundogs try and come out with Lindsey Francis. Meanwhile, the Quakes are keeping a fresh jammer in. This is Cindy Zimmerman dueling with Lindsey Francis. The biggest detriment to the Florida Sundogs with so many people out, they just can't rotate their jammers, they can't rest them, and then things go from bad to worse as the Quakes have every available jammer out and doing a good job of rotating. Lindsey Francis with a knee is able to slow down Cindy Zimmerman, but not drop her. Zimmerman doing a great job of gaining her balance. She's got some new skates on, and it has really increased not only her speed, but more importantly, her balance. Now, Brooke Sunderman comes around. Lindsey Francis does a good job. Go by Sunderman, but picks up 1 point and cuts it off. But Hawk, they need a lot more than 1 point.
Well, they need a lot more than 1 point, and I've got to think that Debbie Rice is really sucking wind here, Ken. You see Zimmerman go around and score some points. Alertly calls off the jam because Cindy Zimmerman was in hot pursuit. But you're right. They did a lot more. They need it fast, and they need it now.
And the Sundogs trail this one by 10. At least they're picking up a point. But the main thing they're doing, this is 2 jams in a row. They have prevented the Quake women, from putting any points on the board. And now we see Denise Loden out jamming against the California Quakes. Boy, I'll tell you what, Jamie Konomak in pursuit, but keep a sharp eye on where Stacy Blitch is on the track, because you could just imagine how Blitch would like to get at Loden. Loden drops Jamie Konomak as they come around.
And we saw her doing this in the first half, Ken, and she picked up a bunch of points for her Florida Sundogs.
And now she comes up on the pack. Stacy Blitch is trying to drop back. Loden goes right around Sunderman, goes right around Faith Urban. Now here it comes. Oh, she flies right around, cuts to the inside, goes right around Stacy Blitch, and is able to pick up 3 big points for her team, and then cuts off the jam. There's no question where her priorities lie, being cheered on by the Chalines.
And whatever you want to say about Denise Loden dating the captain of the opposing team, we saw that in the first half, Ken. When time is down, when they need the points, she gets it done, puts on a jammer helmet, did it in the first period, she did it again right there in the third period.
And slowly the short man Florida Sundogs are creeping back into this one. From an 11-point deficit, they've cut it to 7, but more importantly, 3 straight jams. They have held the California Quakes scoreless. Now this is Andrea Franklin finally getting out for the Sundogs, and she is chasing Stacy Blitch. Both these gals very physical and very, very quick. In fact, both deceptively quick for the size as they come around. Franklin trying to catch up to Blitch. Blitch doing a good job of keeping on the inside, trying to skate the short track. Now Faith Urban back trying to direct some traffic. Stacy Blitch leans back and just nails Andrea Franklin. A very heads-up move by Stacy Blitch with a 7-point lead. Not wanting to risk it, say time is on the Quake side, cut off the jam, scoreless, heads-up play by Blitch.
And Stacy Blitch prefers to be a blocker, Ken, but you hit it on the head. She puts a jammer helmet on when they're in a defensive stance. She was not looking to score points. She was just looking to prevent the Sundogs from scoring points.
She did that, but the Sundogs now, it's 4 straight jams that the Quake women have been unable to put anything on the board. Now it's Debbie Rice and Amy Craig, the 2 quickest gals on their respective teams. But the Florida Sundogs down by 7 have got to get something going. They've got 2 things they've got to focus on. One, keeping the Quakes off the board, but they have got to begin putting some points on as they have skated 2 scoreless jams. When you trail by 7, that's not going to do you a lot of good as we are coming down to the very end of this third period, and it looks like time will run out before either jammer has a chance to catch up to the pack, and that's the way the third period ends. 21-14, the California Quakes, as Faith Urban takes a big spill courtesy of Andrea Franklin.
And you have to love the maturity of Amy Craig as well, Ken. We saw her early in the season, not very well experienced. And here we go, Stacy Blitch and Denise Loden. We've been talking about it. You've got it all here, Ken. You got romance. You've got Sean Atkinson coming over there. Sean Corbin, Jamie Konomak. It is now a melee.
Sean Atkinson tried to pull Stacy Blitch off, and the rest of his team visibly upset with Atkinson. I'll tell you what, this is Katie Barr the door. We'll be back with the fourth period. We're back. It's the beginning of the fourth period, and the California Quakes built up a big lead as they're over the Florida Sundogs by a score of 21-14. In fact, Buddy, in that third period, if it hadn't been for Denise Loden, it could have been a lot worse. Take us through a couple of her big scoring moves.
This was great setup and execution. Watch this move right here. It goes through the inside, a sidestep, and she's actually bringing this girl up. Just brought her straight up. Now here comes the same thing. The second girl didn't even figure out what was happening. Does another cut through. This is absolutely terrific maneuvering. Look at the move on that leg. Oh, nice. Now that's what you call skating.
There is no question the Sundogs have done the job defensively, shutting down the Quakes for 5 scoreless jams, but the question is, can they do anything offensively? That's what they need to do, and a great start right now for number 11 as they come around. Jonathan Russell dumped his fellow Quake jammer, and it's all Jonathan Russell. It's going to be up to him to put some points on the board for these undermanned Sundogs.
And they don't have the horses on the men's side like they do Denise Loden, Ken. So a new face is going to have to step up for the Florida Sundog men.
Rusty Montgomery doing a good job right now of blocking out Tom Smith. Montgomery certainly cognizant of their lead. Oh! Sets up Smith for the skyscraper from Sean Atkinson. We haven't seen any teamwork from Montgomery and Atkinson, but nonetheless, it was visible right there. But Tom Smith does pick up 1 point on that skyscraper. Oh, what about talking one for the team?
And he even has the crowd saying, "Oh, Daddy," the Attack moniker. Sean Atkinson, he's going to feel really comfortable there in the penalty box as his teammate looks on. I think they're as stunned as we are about that skyscraper from Sean Atkinson.
That is the 6th straight scoreless jam. These Sundogs, I'll tell you what, it's not the size of the dog in the fight, but the size of the fight in the dog. And right now, there's a ton of fight in the Florida Sundogs. As you see once again, Tom Smith go through. He's trying to break up the double block. You see Atkinson in the penalty box, a 1-jam penalty for interference. A good opportunity for the Sundogs now as they have a man advantage. And you see Sam the Flame Martin and Smith go by both the Quake Jammers. It's Santiago and Slopey on the track. A big opportunity for Florida to try and climb right back in this one, as they have held the Quakes scoreless for 6 jams, and I've been informed the WSL record for scoreless jams by a team is 8, so the Sundogs have a possibility of setting a new WSL record. And now you see a big whip from Sean Marshall, and a great job from Tom Smith, and now Sam Martin comes right down the middle. And between them, they each pick up a point. 2 more points, and the Sundogs are inching ever closely to tying the Quakes. It's 21-17.
Well, I tell you, Ken, they're getting closer, but we've just been informed that Jonathan Russell, number 11, the victim of the skyscraper from that man, the Attack, is out for the rest of the game. They have no more substitutes. If someone goes down now, Ken, there's no men left on the track for the Florida Sundogs.
Just what they needed. Another injury. Tom Smith tried to take the big elbow, and he goes down, and now also Sam Smith goes down, but Martin gets up quicker, and now as they come around, Martin's pursuing. This is number 20, Gary Lockamy, for the California Quakes. Remember, this will tie a WSL record if the Sundogs can get the Quakes scoreless, and then it looks like they may as Lockamy goes into the rail. Now it's Tom Smith and Sam Martin. These two, this is the 3rd straight jam they've been out. They've got to be tired, but the key is, can they get by and put some points on the board? Atkinson tries to take Tom Smith high. Montgomery with a big elbow into Sam Martin slows them both down. 10 seconds remaining. One has been able to get by Atkinson. That's Tom Smith going by. Atkinson trying to set up Martin, and they both take him down with a Texas Bulldog. Now, this is the Attack, and this is what it is exactly. But as he throws Tom Smith over, he passes him and picks up another point, and now it's Bill Barker going right after Sean Atkinson, and Tom Smith is still down on the track. That's the last thing they need.
They don't need injuries, and they don't need somebody in the penalty box. Neither team does. As this game is getting into the closing minutes, Ken, these guys better play smarter than they are right now.
And not to be lost in this, the Sundog men and women have combined to tie a WSL record, keeping the California Quakes scoreless for 8 straight jams.
There's no men left on the track for the Florida Sundogs.
Just what they needed. Another injury. Danny?
Sean Atkinson, Rusty Montgomery, what's going on here?
I'll tell you what, I'm tired of all the talking about the knees and this and that. Rusty, I'm here to win the game, and shut your mouth about the knees. I'm burned out on it.
I am here to win the game too, Sean, but when your head's not in the game and all you care about is fancying around with her,
the ball remains calm, you idiot.
Bye-bye, Hockey Cat, back to you.
We'll be back with more. Take me home, put me to bed. I thought I'd seen it all. Denise Loden with a jammer helmet. Danny?
Referee Sean Corbin, what's going on here? Denise Loden can't skate.
Hey, it says in the rule book a male can't skate with the females, but there is nothing in there that says a female can't skate with the males. It's a technicality, but it's legal. That's my decision. It's final. She can skate. Let's play.
Unbelievable, Ken.
Absolutely unbelievable. But a heads-up play by Denise Loden, knowing the rule book. Montgomery and Atkinson, the two most physical Quakes in the penalty box. I can't believe my eyes, but Denise Loden skating for the men's Florida Sundogs. Both jammers tied up. Denise Loden. It's 21-20 Quakes. Loden all around. Goes by Mike Tanner, who went over the railing, climbed back up. It's amazing.
And this could even get more amazing, Ken, when Sean Atkinson, her boyfriend, gets out of the penalty box. This is going to get even crazier.
Sam Moyne had been taken off the track. He was injured. Potsy Shaleen in the stands, unable to skate. Now, Loden closes in on the pack. And right there, going for a big elbow, Eric Slope in this. I can't believe it. Denise Loden absolutely cleaning house. Cuts off the jam, puts her team in the lead. You see Eric Slope still down. Debbie Rice can't believe it.
Well, Denise Loden, if you didn't think she had enough to finish out that third period for the women, Ken, she is mixing it up with the men here and scores points. And I talked about it a moment ago. Sean Atkinson now out of the penalty box, soon to face his so-called girlfriend.
Again, a heads-up call by Sean Corbin. Denise Loden passed all three California Quakes on the track. WSL rules say when that occurs, you receive the points for the skaters in the penalty box. Thus, credit Denise Loden for 5 points against the California Quake men. Absolutely amazing. And now down go the jammers again. Once again, Denise Loden, the only jammer out, and back of the pack, Sean Atkinson.
Absolutely, kid. We've talked about it all day. Denise Loden as a jammer is coming up on her boyfriend, Sean Atkinson, only in the World Skating League.
Now, very interesting. Atkinson looked back, saw Loden coming up on the pack, and uncharacteristically suddenly passed, and now Atkinson at the front of the pack. But look who is in the back. Rusty Montgomery, who is fed up with this romance. Montgomery, the elbow to Loden, now tries to pin her against the track, going for a Texas Bull. Look at this. He set Denise Loden up for the skyscraper. Atkinson refused. Rusty Montgomery, Texas Bulldogs, Denise Loden. I can't believe it.
Unbelievable. And the skyscraper meant for Denise Loden goes to Rusty Montgomery from Sean Atkinson. Ken, this nightmare continues for the California Quakes.
A nightmare for the Quakes, and it's got to be a dream that even a Hollywood scriptwriter couldn't have written for the Florida Sundogs. They set an all-time WSL record. They hold the Quakes to 10 scoreless jams.
And just moments ago, we were talking about the Florida Sundogs without any players left, without no hope of winning. Now we're seeing Sean Atkinson, Rusty Montgomery down, bleeding from the mouth. Unbelievable tournaments, snatching defeat from the jaws of victory.
And we see Atkinson and Denise Loden leaving the track together. There you see the Bulldog from Montgomery. Atkinson refused. Sean Atkinson, the skyscraper to his own teammate. There is no question we have pushed the envelope today in the World Skating League, but I think Rusty Montgomery may have pushed the envelope just a little bit too far. But, Hawk, nobody could have imagined this finish.
Well, you talk about Rusty Montgomery, you talk about the relationship between Denise Loden and Sean Atkinson. I just want people to realize that we saw a woman, Denise Loden, score the winning points against men out there for the California Quakes. Only one way to describe it: unbelievable. Kid.
I echo those sentiments exactly. The final score, once again, the Florida Sundogs led by Denise Loden, 26, the California Quakes, 21. For all of us at Roller Jam, I'm Ken Resnick. We'll see you next time. So long, everybody.